Hello guys once again. Today I'm doing something a little bit different, and that is counting down my top 6 favorite Five Nights at Freddy's games. If you didn't know, I'm actually a huge fan of the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, and I've been part of it since 2017. Most of Scott Cawthon's games are actually pretty good, and I'm excited to download some of these games and have a try for myself. So without further ado, let's begin this countdown. Number 6 is FNAF AR Special Delivery. Ever since the AR game was announced, I was very excited, and playing this game for the first time, I literally got super hyped. This game is the first game to be exclusive to mobile, as well as the first one where Freddy Fazbear gets an official voice. The gameplay is quite unique, since you have to listen for the animatronics when they are in your room and shock them before they get to you. They also have other cool mechanics like the mask mechanic for the toy animatronics. Heck, they've even added Funtime Freddy in the game. Overall, this game is great, and I highly recommend it. Number 5, Sister Location. Ah yes, Sister Location. This game, ever since it was announced, got me pretty excited. This is where we first got to see the Funtime animatronics, especially Baby, who I think is one of my favorite female characters in the franchise. This is also the first game where the nights are all different than the past 4 ones. I do like the voice acting in this game. Heck, there's also a custom night, which is as good as the main game itself. But there's only one part that I kind of don't like, which is the Night 4 section, where you have to wiggle yourself out of the spring locks to avoid getting killed by the mini arenas. Other than that flaw, this game is awesome. At number 4, we have Five Nights at Freddy's, and I mean the original first game. Ah yes, I remember the first time when I played this game in 2019, and I was pretty good at it. This is what started the entire franchise. I like this game for its atmosphere, gameplay mechanics, and of course, its jump scares, which are both amazing and horrifying at the same time. It has to be one of the scariest games in the franchise. But the reason why it's number 4 is because it has kind of simple mechanics, and it can get a little boring at times, especially when you're up to Night 7 where you can change the animatronics AI difficulties. Overall, this game is amazing and scary at the same time, and I had a lot of fun playing it. Number 3 is Security Breach. Oh my gosh, this game is so awesome. When I first saw this teaser back in 2020, I thought it looked interesting, but as more information came out, I instantly started to become hyped. And December 17th, the game finally released. Judging by the gameplay aspects, they look pretty amazing. Anyway, the story involves a young boy named Gregory who gets trapped overnight at Freddy's Mega Pizzaplex, where Glamric Freddy guides him and finds the secrets while trying to avoid the other animatronics, who were possessed by Vanny. To be honest, the way you walk around the entire location reminds me of other horror games like Silent Hill, Granny, Hello Neighbor, and Baldi's Basics. About the voice acting, well, it's totally incredible. The characters' designs look spot on. They remind me of real rock stars. One of my favorites in Montgomery Gator, because not only I like reptiles, but I think he's the scariest out of all the Glamric animatronics. I might do a further thoughts video on Security Breach later. I even want to see a DLC where another animatronic besides Freddy helps Gregory, like maybe Roxanne. But we'll have to wait and see. Number 2 is a tie between Ultimate Custom Night and FNAF Help Wanted. Now, these games were my personal favorite for a long time now. Ultimate Custom Night, ever since I first played it, I literally enjoyed it and I loved it. It's an entire game with 50 animatronics you can customize and fight against, but it's also a lot of fun when it comes to playing it. The best part about this game is that it gives many of the old characters voices, like Foxy and Toy Freddy, and I thought their actors did a great job on voicing them. As for Help Wanted, well, it was originally a VR exclusive game, but it later got released onto other consoles and PC. This is the scariest FNAF game hands down. It's got a bunch of levels you can choose from. The Curse of Dreadbear DLC was great, and it has such amazing atmosphere. This game also recreates the classic FNAF games, as well as some new additions like Night Terrors and the Parts and Service levels, where you have to repair each of the 4 classic animatronics. Overall, these 2 games are outstanding, and I give them both a 10 out of 10 for their awesomeness. Before I get to number 1, here are a few honorable mentions. Five Nights at Freddy's 4. I do like this game for its important parts of the lore like the Bite of 83, and the jump scares in this game are well done. But if I were to make a top 7 or top 8 FNAF games list, then I would include it. Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator. Don't get me wrong, this game is great, but the reason why it didn't make it is because sometimes the gameplay gets a bit boring at times. FNAF World. I like FNAF World mainly because of its positive looks and RPG gameplay, but I didn't include it on the list, because I prefer the scary main FNAF games in my opinion. And my number 1 most favorite Five Nights at Freddy's game is Five Nights at Freddy's 2. This is probably the most memorable FNAF game for me. When I first downloaded this game, I was very excited to play. This is another classic game to us fans, and is a way of nostalgia. Just like FNAF 4 and other games I mentioned, it tells important parts of the lore. I like how there are no doors in this game, which makes the atmosphere more intense, and your only defense is the Freddy mask in order to avoid different animatronics. Not to mention that I like how the animatronics in the classic FNAF games were silent, which is something that makes them creepier and stand out more. Usually, if a character from a horror genre doesn't speak or has no lines of dialogue, it makes them creepier, as well as adding suspensive atmosphere. And that's another great thing about this game. Suspense. The suspense really well done in this game. The way how Withered Foxy is standing in front of you waiting to kill you, or how the withered animatronics are in your office. Oh my gosh, that's terrifying. And finally, the death minigames were pretty interesting, and those were something that we never saw in the first game. But anyway, those are all the reasons why FNAF 2 is my most favorite FNAF game of all time, and that was my top 6 favorite FNAF games list. Do you agree with my picks, or do you have a different list than mine? Let me know in the comments on what is your favorite FNAF game. This is Rainiers Fan 02 Productions signing off and saying thanks for watching.